This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. A sex offender who was only recently released from the Bahamas Department of Corrections last Friday has died in hospital after he was found on a track road in Yellow Elder Gardens just west of Blue Hill Road with injuries to the body and bleeding from the nose. 55-year-old Alden Scott succumbed to those injuries he sustained over the weekend on Wednesday morning, according to Police Press Liaison Superintendent Audley Peters. According to Superintendent Peters, police learned of the incident on Saturday afternoon. Police will await an autopsy report to give instructions as to how they will classify Scott's death. Just last week, National Security Minister Wayne Munro announced that the two-time sex offender was being released, and according to the minister, Scott posed a significant threat to the health and safety of the general public. Scott was sentenced to prison back in 2021 for indecent assault of a 9-year-old girl. Prior to this, he was convicted of raping a 17-year-old in 2014 and sentenced to 4 years in prison. During his announcement, Minister Munro also advised the public that physical retaliation would only be detrimental to the progress now being made with the establishment of the Sex Offenders Registry. He further stated that, like in other jurisdictions, physical harm to the individual could help the courts build a case to rescind or block further public notices of the release of sex offenders. Scott was not being electronically monitored. That's Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis denying claims that she assaulted a police officer this past weekend at a carnival event. Allegations swirling on social media that the minister hit a junior police officer with her car after being denied access through a police checkpoint. Witnesses claim the minister became irate with the young officer, and following an exchange of words, she got into her vehicle and hit the officer on 2 occasions as she tried to cross the barricades. The minister's denials comes after Police Staff Association PSA Executive Chairman Ricardo Walks released a statement on the incident, noting that the officer involved received medical treatment and has retained an attorney. According to Mr. Walks, the officer said the driver shouted, "Do you know who I am?" end quote, and as she attempted to drive around the barricades. Mrs. Colby Davis, in defending her character to reporters on Wednesday outside the Parliament, claims that such egregious acts are not of her nature.
I stand by my previous statement that it is untrue what is being said. Like my grandmother always say, the last laugh is the best laugh. And so I will wait for all of the other information to come forward, but I stand by my statement that that is untrue. That is not my character. I had my 3-year-old daughter with me on Saturday, so I would never act out in her presence. Even if it was my character, I would not. That's not my personality, and I would not do that in the presence of my 3-year-old daughter.
The minister suggested she is being politically targeted. The PSA says they will await the outcome of an investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Science earlier this week called for a statement from Cabinet on the alleged assault of the police officer. While there was much excitement in many segments of the society following the presentation of the government's 2022-2023 budget, unlike past national budgets, the sporting community was not left out this time around. We hear more in this report. There is no denying that under the previous administration, the local sporting community was not pleased with the lack of attention, respect, and appreciation given for the power of sports, uniting a nation and giving hope and opportunities to countless young people. During the budget presentation on Wednesday, as Prime Minister Philip Davis revealed plans for the blue, green, and orange economy, he also shared plans the government has in relation to sports and its Sports in Paradise initiatives.
In our Blueprint for Change, we detailed a number of initiatives which will expand opportunities for Bahamians, especially in the orange, green, and blue economies. Our athletes have contributed so much to the Bahamas. Their successes inspire our student athletes at home and promote our country on the international stage. Recognizing this, we have restored the funding to the Elite Athletes Program. And this effort is to enhance our support for our athletes and sporting programs, which is deserved.
In addition to the athletes' subvention being reinvigorated, the Prime Minister also shared plans the government has to host several major sporting events, both local and international, including the return of the Bahamas Games set to coincide with the 50th Independence celebration in July of 2023.
We have also included $1 million to facilitate the hosting of CARIFTA next year, and for funding our bid again to host the World Relay Games. And we have funding to support the return of the Bahamas game. And we have provided for a 10% increase in grants for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
While in Jamaica for the 49th edition of the CARIFTA Games, Prime Minister Davis secured the bid to host the 50th edition of the CARIFTA Games in April of 2023. Meanwhile, Senator Michael Halkitis, the Minister of Economic Affairs, explained the idea behind a bid for the return of the IAAF World Relays.
We will put on the event. Of course, they will pay to come here and their accommodations, etc. And hopefully they bring some family and other fans with them who will inject some money into the economy. That as well, there's some public relations related to it. The Bahamas name will be called in terms of hosting the relays. And perhaps the expectation is it will then spur other events to come. So it's part of a marketing. It's part of outlaying some money to be able to get some money, to put your name out there. That is the whole Sports and Paradise brand, where we start to bring people here.
The Bahamas was not represented at the 2021 World Relays in Poland. The 2023 World Relays will be held in China. The Bahamas hosted the first and second edition of the World Relays in 2014 and 2015, setting a new global standard in presentation. And finally, a Carnival cruise ship caught fire as it was docked in Grand Turks on Thursday morning, officials said. The fire broke out inside the Carnival Freedom ship's smoke funnel around 7 a.m. and was quickly extinguished as the ship was in the capital of the Turks and Caicos. The company shared a statement about the fire around 8:45 a.m. It read, "All guests and crew are safe, and the ship's guests were cleared by local authorities to go ashore. We continue to assess the situation," a spokesperson said. Reportedly, passengers on board the ship put on life jackets, but no evacuations were ultimately ordered. Officials said that the ship had left Port Canaveral in Florida on Monday for a 5-day cruise, which ends on Saturday. Officials said it's not yet clear what caused the fire. Carnival Freedom was built in 2007, is 948 feet long, and can hold over 3,500 passengers. And that'll do it, folks, for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.